RINO Senator Lisa Murkowski is done with Donald Trump, and she might leave the Republican Party. What is up, people of the internet? It is me, Real American, back again with a new video, and today it is time to talk about the chaos that is unfolding in the US Senate because everyone, Lisa Murkowski, yes, the quote-unquote Republican Senator of Alaska, is officially done with Donald Trump, which really isn't a surprise to anyone. I mean, she's been done with Trump for like 5 years now. She's never liked him. She voted for impeachment. It's not a surprise. But after winning re-election in 2022 as a Republican, mind you, Mitch McConnell spent $10 million on her. Well, she is now saying she might leave the Republican Party. That's right. She ran as a Republican. And now, after she got elected again, and she might not win again, she decided, you know what? I'm leaving the Republican Party, or at least potentially leaving. This is absolutely pathetic, but first, before we continue with today's video, I hope you enjoy these type of videos. If you do, smash the like button down below, subscribe, share with your friends, hit that little bell, follow the social media accounts in the description down below, and of course, join the channel today. Again, folks, all support is greatly appreciated, and yeah. Now, to be clear, it isn't much of a surprise that Murkowski is pulling this. I mean, she isn't that conservative, never was. I mean, for crying out loud, everyone knew she was losing that primary in 2022, so she completely changed the system in Alaska, where no matter what you do, you can't get rid of her. Because if she doesn't take first place in the primary, doesn't matter. In the general, just have a bunch of Democrats vote for her. She's pulled this crap for years, whether it's running as a write-in, whether it's completely changing Alaska law, whatever. She's pulled this crap because guess what? She doesn't want to be held accountable by the Republican voter. She doesn't. And now, she may not even be a Republican much longer. So let's get into it. Senator Lisa Murkowski aghast that Donald Trump's candidacy in the direction of her party won't rule out bolting from the GOP. Are you freaking kidding me? Think about this for a second, everyone. She ran for re-election as a Republican in 2022, and Mitch McConnell saved her by spending $10 million on her race, which, for Alaska standards, that's hundreds of millions of dollars, just for Alaska standards. That's how big it is, right? And, well, she's paying them back by just leaving the party because Orange Man. Why did McConnell protect her? Why did McConnell spend $10 million on this bozo when he could have spent $10 million on Adam Laxalt, who probably would have won with that extra boost? Same thing with Blake Masters. He might have not won, but still. You spent this money on Murkowski, and now she might leave the party as a thank you? The veteran Alaska Republican, one of 7 Republicans who voted to convict Trump in his second impeachment trial amid the aftermath of January 6, is done with the former president and said she absolutely would not vote for him. I wish as a Republican, we had a nominee that I could get behind, Murkowski told CNN. I certainly can't get behind Trump. You know, if Nikki Haley was the nominee, or Mike Pence or whoever, she would 100% vote for them and demand that you vote for the nominee because it's better than Biden. But when it's Trump, she's a hypocrite. Now it's, I can't vote for him because Orange Man bad. This is, I mean, how can people look at this and say, yes, the Senate Republicans have no problems? They have plenty of problems, especially with this bozo. The party's shift towards Trump has caused Murkowski to consider her future within the GOP. In the interview, she would not say if she would remain a Republican, which is freaking ironic because even when she was first elected in like 2004, she was never that conservative. I mean, this is Alaska. I know it's a bit more libertarian, but you're telling me that you vote more in line with Democrats than Republicans? I mean, there's not a single issue she was ever good at. She's making it sound like that, this party has changed forever and I can't stay with it. Yeah, it's changed, but the party needed that change. If it wasn't for the Trump coalition, it would be impossible for a Republican to win. It would be. But people like Murkowski think, oh, just go back to the George W. Bush days. Guess what? The Bush coalition is both figuratively and literally dead. You're not going back to that. Just accept it. Asked if she would become an independent, Murkowski said, oh, I think I'm very independent-minded. And she added, I just regret that our party is seemingly becoming a party of Donald Trump. So, it's a problem that the party's becoming the Donald Trump party. But was it a problem when the party was the party of Bush, the party of Reagan, the party of Eisenhower, the party of Nixon? Was it a problem then? Why is it suddenly a problem? I mean, when you just think about that for a second. It wasn't a problem when it was for Reagan or Bush, but now it's a problem because it's Donald Trump? What did you expect to happen? I mean, Trump has been the nominee for 3 straight cycles. Yeah, it's his party. Pressed on if that meant she would become an independent, Murkowski said, I am navigating my way through some very interesting political times. Let's just leave it at that. So she won't even answer. She's giving the, oh, well, we just gotta see what happens. AKA, yeah. If she somehow stays as a Republican, she's gonna vote as a Democrat. Already does. Already has been for 20 years. If she flips as an independent, nothing really changes. But it's pathetic that she won't even stay for the party. Like, you could say you don't like Trump, but neither does Susan Collins. Yet she's going to stay Republican. She's not happy with Trump, but she's doing it for the best of the party to stay as a Republican and, vote on stuff that you absolutely need votes on. You're just, oh, orange man bad. You're just a Democrat. I mean, you're in Alaska. What's your excuse for voting like this? I mean, Alaska's a fairly Republican state. It's not like Maine where Susan Collins is. This is Alaska. Murkowski hasn't always been on the outs within her party. Appointed in 2002 by her father, Governor Frank Murkowski, the senator's politics were in line with the president at the time, George W. Bush, as she maintained a tight relationship with a senior GOP senator from her state, Ted Stevens, who helped build Alaska through federal dollars he funneled back home. Well, that's just a lie, by the way. I mean, back in 2002, 2003, yeah, she was slightly more conservative than she is now, but she still had a fairly liberal voting record for the Republican Party. She later found herself at odds with Senator John McCain's running mate, the then Alaska Governor Sarah Palin, who has been sharply critical of her father. As the Tea Party rose in 2010, Murkowski was at sharp odds with the insurgent right wing of her party. And for good reason. She was never that conservative to begin with, but back in 2010, she took a big swing to the left. I mean, she went from, 70% conservative to maybe like 40%. It was bizarre what happened, and what do you expect was going to happen? The base was just going to let you pull that crap? Even back in 2010, the conservative base was not happy with clowns like Murkowski. She lost a primary in 2010 to Republican Joe Miller, only to later hold on to her seat after she became the second candidate ever to win a write-in campaign for Senate in the general election. That's right. What happened in 2022 was the second time she pulled the scam of, oh, I'm going to win no matter what. No matter what the Republican base does, I'm going to win. Back in 2010, she ran as a write-in candidate. And she made a deal with Democrats saying, vote for me, and I'll just be a liberal Republican, like I have been for the past couple of years. And Democrats did that. They voted for her. In 2022, she knew she was toast if she ran as a write-in candidate. She knew she was done. So she decided to completely change the system in Alaska. What does that tell you about her? What? It tells her, she doesn't care about the party. She doesn't care about the Republican voter. To them, they're just plebs. She only cares about power in herself. I mean, think about that. You changed the election system completely just to win? Can you imagine if Donald Trump tried to do something like that? Oh my goodness, it would be 24/7 news that Donald Trump's a dictator. Okay, then what do you call what Murkowski's polling in Alaska? Where if she loses, she just keeps running. But if she knows she's toast either way, she completely upends the system in Alaska, which gave Democrats a House seat, mind you, just so she can win. What does that tell you about her? She cares about herself and no one else. Murkowski skated the re-election in her next two elections, even after voting to convict Trump in 2021, voting against Brett Kavanaugh for the Supreme Court in 2018, and supporting Brown Jackson in 2022. She had been targeted by Trump and his allies in 2022, but was backed by Senate GOP leader Mitch McConnell and his high-spending outside group. Great move by McConnell, by the way. You could have gotten rid of her. You could have just endorsed her, but not spend a dime on her. Just say, fine, I support her. If you didn't spend the $10 million on her, she probably would have lost. Because again, like I said, $10 million in Alaska is like $100 million. Because Alaska is a far less populated state. So that $10 million goes a lot further in that state than, say, California. In the 2024 cycle, Murkowski, along with Republican Senator Susan Collins of Maine, offered a late endorsement of former South Carolina Governor Nikki Haley just days before she dropped out of the race. Now, Murkowski is clear she's ready to move past Trump. Asked about Trump's recent comments that Jewish people who voted for Democrats must hate their religion, Murkowski said it was an incredibly wrong and awful statement. I mean, how can you look at what the Democrats have been saying for 6 or 7 months and say, yes, what Trump said here is wrong? Not saying every Democrat is saying or supporting what progressives do, but Trump ain't necessarily wrong. A lot of Democrats do not support Israel. That's a fact. So what Trump said, he's not wrong. He's right. But either way, this whole situation is a complete and total joke. I mean, you have a Republican in Alaska, not like frickin' Maine, New Hampshire. No, Alaska, which I know it's politically different, but it's still a Republican state. You have a Republican like this representing a state like Alaska. That is absolutely pathetic. And now, after she was saved by Mitch McConnell, she decides to thank them by probably leaving the GOP. What does that tell you about Murkowski? She doesn't care about the Republican voter, doesn't give a rat's ass about Alaska. She only cares about herself and power. So I kind of hope she just leaves, because that means Republicans are finally waking up and realizing, oh wait, we don't have 49 senators. We have at most 47, because Murkowski is a Democrat and Susan Collins is in Maine. They also Mitt Romney, but either way, we shouldn't even be in this situation. We could have had an actual Republican win in 2022, but Murkowski got saved by McConnell, who was pissed off with Trump. I mean, that's what it came down to. Spent $10 million to save Murkowski, when that money could have went to Adam Laxalt, and we could have had a 50-50 Senate right now, with an actual conservative in Alaska. Anyways, folks, thank you so much for watching. If you guys did enjoy this video, smash the like button down below, subscribe, share with your friends, hit that little bell, follow the social media accounts in the description down below, and of course, join the channel today. Thank you so much. Godspeed to all of you.